Russia may face additional sanctions, and this time from Israel, when it tries to infringe on the rights of Jews. Not long ago, Russian authorities wanted to terminate the Jewish agency, which helps Jews move to Israel. Prime Minister Yair Lapid warned Russia that closing the Jewish agency would negatively affect ties between the two countries. He reportedly instructed the foreign ministry to draft specific actions that Israel might take if Russia fulfills its announced plans to close the organization, including the recall of the Israeli ambassador to Moscow, more belligerent public statements against Russia, and increased Israeli support for Ukraine. Last month, Russian authorities told the Jewish agency that its offices could face sanctions for alleged violations of local laws. By the way, the US president visited the region from July 13 to 16, with stops in Israel, the West Bank, and Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. In both Israel and Saudi Arabia, several common issues arose. First, the president wanted more support from Middle Eastern countries to isolate Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. On his arrival in Israel, Biden called the Russian invasion a challenge to world peace and stability, and insisted that Putin's war must be a strategic failure. Both Israel and the Arab states sought to remain neutral in response to Moscow's aggression, and the president knows that of the 10 countries with the largest population on the planet, only the United States has condemned Russia for its invasion. Secondly, he sought a regional agreement on how to respond to the threat posed by Iran. And third, Biden wanted to improve relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. The ultimate goal of the administration is to have the two Middle Eastern powers establish diplomatic relations and sign the so-called Abrahamic agreements. This would further reduce tensions between the Arab world and Israel, as well as serve as a more effective deterrent to Iran. Biden was warmly welcomed by Israel's last prime minister, who called him "our brother Joseph." Mr. Lapid did not come to the office until June 30 after the collapse of the coalition headed by his predecessor, Naftali Bennett, which for the first time included Arab parties. This prepares the ground for the November parliamentary elections in Israel, the 5th in 4 years. It also demonstrates the fragile nature of Israeli politics and the approaching presence of former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.